April 14th, and there's so much going on in the world, and I have to bring it to you. My name is Dr. Sandra Colton-Medici, and I'm so glad you're here. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you like what I'm talking about here on this channel, and definitely read the description for how you can subscribe to my Substack as well, and my TikTok. This is something that I'm doing every single Monday through Friday. If you haven't seen any of them before, feel free to scroll back into the archive. I did 5 last week, and I'm so glad that you're here with me. So let's get started with some of these topics that I think you would want to hear about. I have a really sweet one at the end too. So let's just get started. I'm going to scroll through and get you into the mix, which this is the one that I think everybody is talking about. I'm going to just back up here for a minute so you can see. Trump administration stonewalls judge in case of mistakenly deported man. This is the biggest story out there. And that's saying something because we were talking about Signalgate not too long ago. Everything is so kind of fast moving that if we do not keep bringing things to the forefront, they're just going to start disappearing. Kind of like this man. So one of the arguments that the Trump administration is presenting to judges is that they can deport anyone for any reason at any time. Thank you so much for joining me, Vivian. I'm so glad you're here and giving me a like. Thank you so much. What this means, though, is that they believe that they can deport citizens, green card holders, visa holders, all of these sort of types of statuses. Before they were arguing we can deport undocumented people and I guess terrorists. And then they decided to bring all of these people who were in the United States and send them to El Salvador. And with this particular man, there was a clerical error that they said. And now they're claiming we will do everything that the Supreme Court says. But then they reversed that and said, well, we can't tell one dictator what to do once they are in his country. It's bone chilling, and by the minute they are kind of flip-flopping on their stories and changing what they're saying and not being very specific and not cooperating basically in the way that normal people would cooperate with an order like this from the United States Supreme Court. So this is something that I wanted to bring to your attention because it is not something we should turn away from, because it could be you, it could be me next, okay? This is a very interesting story too. So let me just back up for you so you can see. This is Carrie Underwood in a swimsuit, no less. And the reason that I bring this up is because we were talking about Carrie Underwood when she performed at the inauguration. Welcome to everybody who has joined the live stream. And if you are watching this on a replay, definitely feel free to subscribe and hit the like button. Carrie Underwood we talked about because she had that association with Donald Trump, which a lot of people were like, what? At the time. Now, a lot of people were not shocked, but it was not a very good career move for someone who is, I would say, wanting to be in all the good graces of people who are music lovers. And she chose to do that. She didn't necessarily have the performance that she wanted. I don't know if you remember that, the music or something didn't play, so she just sang it a cappella. She was in the rotunda. They had changed the inauguration from outside to inside, and she was not happy because there was some sort of musical malfunction with the backing track, okay? And now this woman is on American Idol as a judge. But this is a very interesting PR piece, okay, about her swimsuit. She's on a surfboard and she's doing what she's doing, right? Let me show you the other one. This is the other one. And there's nothing wrong with what she looks like, right? But in the comments is where the Yahoo article, which I think is from a different source, goes into what she's wearing. As you see from numerous comments on the photos, when fans aren't picking their jaws up off the floor over Underwood's legs, they're asking where her stylish and practical swimsuit is from. Now, when you are as famous as Carrie Underwood and you had as much bad press as you had from the inauguration, and then this is the type of article that is being written about you when you're on like one of the biggest shows, right? American Idol. It's not about you, it's not about your singing, it's not about your judging, it's about your bathing suit that you're putting out there. Number one, everything is done on purpose. Everything is strategic when it comes to big name celebrities. This article about a swimsuit is very, very strategic placement because it places the sort of view, the lens on her body. Okay, it places the lens on her body instead of on her ability. Hey, how are you in the comments? I don't know how to say your name because it just says O and then an I under upside down and an O. So hi. Let me show you the rest of these because it's very interesting. You have to admit, it's refreshing to see a celeb wearing something that's perfectly suited for her water sports as opposed to a tiny string bikini. Sure, there's a time and a place for that, sunbathing at the beach or by the pool, but for someone as active as she is, this getup is just, it just makes so much more sense. Very interesting. Very interesting. Like, what are we talking about here? And they're talking about people who are making positive comments about her in her bathing suit. But when I went to the Yahoo comments, that's not exactly what's happening. Yes, there were some favorable comments, but this one, looking at Carrie's face, or looking at Carrie before stardom and after stardom face, they're talking about her face. Okay, it's clear she has had major facial plastic surgery. I've never really studied her face that much, but it goes on. She is unrecognizable and not in a, I think this is not in a good way. Okay, the comments do not spare her. How much plastic surgery has she surgery she's got? The woman's a fantastic singer and has found more. Sorry, the secret of living a well-balanced life. That sounds like this. Right? Don't call me liberal. That sounds like a bot to me. Okay, let's keep going on some of these comments. 2 different legs. Not any photoshopping going on there. I don't know about the legs if they look photoshopped. You tell me. Do her legs look photoshopped? One looks wider, maybe because it's turned a little. I don't know, but the comments did not spare her. And they weren't necessarily, I mean, yes, they were favorable in most cases when they were talking about her legs, but when they were talking about her face, they were not very kind. So I'm not sure that this was the PR move that she thought it was because she doesn't look bad to me. But when you're a major star, and you're trying to plant stories, and not saying that I know for sure that she planted this story, but I know that stars like this are very strategic in what they do. I'm not sure this is the story that you want out there. Hey, everybody, come critique how I look. Instead of putting out a song, putting out a new album, putting out some new music where people can relate to the lyrics and what you're going through and the trauma or the tragedy or the joy and that whatever that gets people buzzing about positivity versus about trying to tear people down in the comments over what type of bathing suit you're wearing. Okay, so let's go on because there's so much more. This one is horrendous. Okay, if you haven't looked at the headlines, world's coolest dictator. Just that is an oxymoron. Cool and being a dictator should not go together. Bukele, I think is how you say it, gets a White House visit. This is the guy who has a gulag and he is being invited to the White House. If you don't know how horrible that is, I mean, just take a moment to sit with that. Just take a moment and sit with that because that to me just means we have lost the plot. Okay, this is the article. It says on Monday, Bukele will receive another cherished American Gold Star. An Oval Office visit with President Donald Trump will showcase El Salvador on the world stage and solidify his burgeoning alliance with the most powerful leader of the free world. Okay, let me just put it this way. This is strategic because they know everybody is looking at El Salvador because of the man that they mistakenly sent there, okay? And the only thing that I think is going to come of this is this guy, Bukele, is going to bring him back. It will be a staged setup in the Oval Office where they bring him back and they present the guy, Arbrego, I think is his last name, to the world. And they will try to make Bukele look like this amazing man. Oh, how generous of him to bring our person back that we mistakenly sent over there. That's what I think is going to happen. This visit is not on accident. There's no reason to bring a dictator into the Oval Office unless there is a staged presentation. I don't think they're bringing him into the into the Oval Office just for the niceties of the handshake. And look, we paid you $6 million to house these people that we say are horrible with no due process. No, there's something far more sinister happening here, and I believe it's a staged release of the guy that they are trying to bring back, so they say. Let's move on to the stocks because there's so much going on, you guys. Definitely subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. That helps me and my channel keep growing. Also, it helps me know your names because I see when people subscribe. Stocks bounced back after tariff exemptions for electronics from China. One thing I wanted to talk about because of this is I saw a small business owner, and she was saying that she has been getting a lot of questions about, well, how come you don't bring your manufacturing back to the United States? And she said, I want to ask you one very big question. And I'm just kind of paraphrasing what she said. Why should I have to bring my manufacturing back to the United States when these electronics, computer makers, cell phone makers, chip makers, all of those electronics are being exempt? And people like Apple and, I don't know, Microsoft and whomever are making these sort of electronics are being exempt, but those are the people who can actually afford to bring manufacturing back to the United States. So if they're going to exempt all of these electronics makers, why should they be the ones to be exempt when they are the ones with the finances, with the means to bring the manufacturing back? And small business owners who don't have the means are being asked the same question. Why aren't you bringing it back? When they can't afford it, right? Why do the big businesses get the exemption? So I just want you to think about that as you see these sort of bouncing back, because they're still flip-flopping. They're telling people these exemptions are not going to last very long. So I'm going to just predict that this is going to go up and down again because he's, in my opinion, doing the market manipulation, but also because he wants control. He wants that sort of like people just like waiting with bated breath. All right. I know it's a lot going on, you guys. Something that I think is very important is this. It's an article that I saw, and I wanted to bring you something that was not Trump related today. Infidelity for the social media age. What is micro cheating, and is it a big deal? I actually thought this was very intriguing. They talk about this like a coworker's photo on social media. If you like it, that could be considered micro cheating. Okay, progressively interacting this way with somebody else outside of your relationship may be no big deal to you, but to your significant other, it might matter. So I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on micro cheating in the digital age. They do give you this sort of example of what it means, the definition. It says micro cheating, a term popularized by Australian psychologists. They're talking about just a series of anything short of physical contact that involves thinking or doing anything that is sort of, I don't know, liking or engaging with someone else that is not your partner, not your significant other, and having these sort of digital relationships that are not with the person that you are with. So I'm curious to know if you've ever had this sort of accusation of micro cheating? And do you believe it really exists? Or is this just something that we are talking about? It's kind of like when people have a work wife or a work husband or something like that. The last thing that I wanted to bring you today is very delicious. If you are in the Los Angeles area, okay, so I went to University of Oregon for my undergraduate degree, and now they have Voodoo Donuts on Melrose. Voodoo Donuts, I believe, was founded and created with most of its operations in Oregon, and they have ever so slowly branched out their operations. The first one in LA was at, I think, Universal Studios or Universal City Walk, but now it's on Melrose. So I want to show you some of their donut creations because they're so good. Okay, so obviously the Voodoo Donut. They have some packages like Voodoo Dozen, but here are some of the ones that they have. You can see, and I just took some very quick screenshots so you can see some of the ones that they have. Cherry Cola, Captain, oh Captain My Captain, the Maple Bacon Bar, this one over here. That one is so delicious. And then I had to show you the Voodoo Doll. Yes, of course. The Portland cream is actually one of their better ones too. And then there's so many with like some different sort. I think that's a school PB&J. Like they're so fun. They're so fun. So I hope that you enjoy them. If you have a chance, go to a Voodoo Donuts location near you and get a dozen in the pink box because they're always in pink box. I really appreciate your support and joining me. I am going to be doing my lives Monday through Friday on YouTube Live. I also am doing them in the evenings on Substack Live. So join me over at Substack. You can go and hit the description here and my Substack is listed there. I'm also going to start doing some subscriber only content right here and also on TikTok Live too. So have a great Monday, you guys. And let's just, cross our fingers that they bring this guy back from El Salvador. I do think it's going to be a photo op with Bukele in the Oval Office. Tell me your thoughts in the comments. Even if this is on the replay, I want to see you in the comments and I will meet you there. Have a great day.